Fleck Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union. Now, it's the PJ Fleck Show with Pierre Nugent, Ron Johnson, and Justin Gard.
Hi, everyone, and welcome into the PJ Fleck Show. Joined as always by the head coach of Gopher football, PJ Fleck, alongside Gophers Hall of Famer Ron Johnson, K-Fans Justin Gard. I am Pierre Nugent. We know it is never easy in college football, and the Gophers suffered their first setback of the 2023 season against North Carolina. It was a 31-13 decision down in Chapel Hill. PJ, was it a matter of North Carolina taking you guys out of what you wanted to do, or do you feel like it was a type of game where you feel like there was just mistakes made on your part that prevented you from maximizing your performance against North Carolina?
Well, I think it's both, right? Because they're sitting in their film room after that game. They're saying, we could have done this, and scored 48 points, right? So everybody has their own version once you're actually done and you go back through the film and you see it through your own lens. But I think it was a combination. I think there were too many explosive plays we gave up on defense. And then offensively, we just didn't take advantage of opportunities that were right there in front of us. And all we have to do is either throw the ball in the right spot or catch the football. And those are the easy things that we've got to be able to clean up over the next few weeks. And I'm really proud of the response we had early in the week this week.
And Darius Taylor, I mean, when you see him as a freshman, his patience behind the line of scrimmage before he picks his hole, freshman, Big Ten freshman of the week once again. At what point do you say he's RB1, or is it still going to kind of be a Sean Tyler, Darius Taylor show?
Well, I think it's not about just one. I mean, you have to have multiple running backs to be really, really effective, I think, unless you have a really, really experienced back that's played a ton of football like we had last year with Muhammad Ibrahim, but he still had to be able to be subbed in and out. But I do think Darius has put himself in position to touch the ball an awful lot during the game. It doesn't mean Sean Tyler won't, because he will. We got to get Zach Evans rolling too. The good thing is we do have some backs. We just got to be able to play better at that position. But Darius Taylor, I mean, he's played in basically 2 games, and he was Big Ten Player of the Week both times he's done that as a freshman. So he'll get on the field a little bit more.
Does he have a shelf in his room for all those awards? I mean, you getting him a shelf, building him a shelf, looks like an ore shelf, because he might need some more room there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you'd be shocked, but the Big Ten has given out the same certificate for
50 years.
It is the same certificate, and it's like
the TV money's not coming down to the awards.
You said that, I didn't say that, but it's the thought that counts.
That's right,
and it's in that same envelope.
That's right.
So he'll get it framed. I'm sure his auntie and grandma will get it framed, and I'm sure that'll be on his wall.
It takes a village on the defensive line as well, and we spent a ton of time this summer talking about the need for a better pass rush from a season ago. You do NFL circuits, you studied NFL teams. Kyler Ball and Danny Strigo both have 2.5 sacks each. We haven't even talked about Ja Joyner, who seemingly picks up a holding penalty every single game. You have to be pleased with – I said that as well. You didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
You have to be pleased with what you've gotten up front in terms of the pass rush.
I can agree with you, but you said it, so I'm just agreeing. But we are. I mean, and part of our issue on Saturday against North Carolina was our pass rush lanes became a little too wide. If you can get Drake May to really stay inside that pocket like you just saw right there, we can be really productive. When those lanes get wider, he's one of the best in the country at doing this, getting outside the pocket, scrambling, and we're showing plays that the Gophers did really well. But I'm sure they could show ones that we didn't do very well, and those are the ones he hit us big for.
I know a lot of fans might just look at the box score, and if they look at the box score from the game on Saturday, they'll see that Ethan Kaliak managed to win 11 of 29 throwing the football. But there's context and nuance to every stat line. There were some drops, as you alluded to earlier in the show. But what needs to be better from the quarterback position moving forward?
Well, I think we just got to be able to carry it over from practice to the game. I mean, you watch practice and you prepare for the game and you make it game-like and you feel really good about the game plan and the execution of the game plan. And if we don't, we throw it out. So what we keep in is what we feel really good about. It's a transition from practice into a game and having that look the way it did in practice. And we weren't able to do that on Saturday, whether it was catching or throwing. And again, we're expanding what we do. And we're doing everything we can to be as balanced as we can, because that's what we feel this team to win needs to be. And we just have to be more effective at it and be more consistent.
And you mentioned the Drake May getting outside the pocket, extending the play, doing what a top quarterback should do. But the defense, for the most part, made him get out the pocket, so they did force him. But how do you alleviate those struggles of letting him get that second play down?
Well, it's the pass rush lanes. It's not rushing past the quarterback. It's rushing to the quarterback, then squeezing and condensing the pocket from the back down, and then the people from the internal can provide that pressure, and then the pocket gets shrunk. He has no place to go. You don't want Drake May scrambling outside of the pocket. He's one of the best quarterbacks statistically and percentage-wise. When he does break the pocket, he's at his best. So we wanted to condense that, not let him leave the pocket. If he was going to leave the pocket, he had to go backwards. And if he went backwards, then we could spin out of our blocks, we can contain him, and he'd throw it away. That wasn't the case in some of the instances. Some of it was, sometimes we didn't. But when we didn't, we got burned by it.
The number one question I've gotten after the game so far this year, PJ, is about Chris Ottman-Bell. And he's obviously coming off a really tough injury in the Colorado game a year ago. What's keeping him from getting on the field more?
Well, just being 100% cleared, to go back out and play. I think that's, our medical team makes a lot of the decisions and makes all the decisions, whether kids play or not, based on how they feel, the players, plus the trainers. I keep saying he's close.
Yeah.
Cody's close. But, I don't make those calls and decisions, and nor should I. And these guys, when they get on the field to play consistently over a long period of time, that's made by the medical staff. And we need them. We'd love them back. We need them back, but we want them back 100% healthy. We don't want them anything but that.
How much do you notice that it just maybe eats at him is too strong of a term, but how much does it eat at him to not be able to get back?
He's a competitor, Pierre. He wants to be out there. Cody wants to be out there. People forget we're missing our two best players on offense and defense, arguably, right? And that's tough when you take your two best players and you remove them, and you fill those voids. Next guy up. But we would love to have those two guys back. Hopefully we get them back here very soon.
Go ahead, Ron.
No, I say when you see Jack Henderson, kind of like a jack of all trades, he kind of plays the joker position, safety, linebacker. He's all over the field. And then also, Chris Collins with the interceptions. But Jack Henderson specifically, how much more can he bring to this defense as kind of an integral piece?
Well, he can do everything. He can play safety. He can cover. He can strike like a linebacker. He's really football intelligent. And he works really hard at it. He's an overachiever. He's what the nickel position should be, or the joker position, as you call it. So for us, he's critical. As he keeps getting better, we'll be able to do more and help our defense continue to stop opponents.
So as a safety, you are treating him like a nickel then. He can come down in the box and cover.
Well, yeah, he is our nickel. That's what he plays. But he is a safety. He can play corner. He can do a lot of things. But he plays that true nickel position, which is really the outside linebacker, but in more passing downs. But that's what he gives you. He gives you the ability to almost be in base personnel while you're still in nickel. Mm-hmm. If you get a chance to see him, he's big, he's long, he's tough. He plays like a Sam linebacker, but moves like a safety. And he's got another year left after this, and we're excited about now and the future.
Last week, we were talking about how efficient you guys were on third down against Eastern Michigan. This week, it was a little bit of the opposite from what we saw. How much of that really went into the final result?
A ton of it did. Yeah. Instead of getting off the field and getting the ball back, we lost the time of possession. We weren't able to get off the field. They converted third and short, third and medium, third and longs. And we're built to be off the field and get our defense over there making adjustments, and then offense staying on the field. So we weren't getting third down efficiency on offense, and we weren't being efficient on third down defense. That's a recipe, no matter who you play, no matter who you are, for a disaster, and that's what happened.
We get to move on from North Carolina after the break, I promise.
No, that's all right.
But
that's okay.
That's as frustrated as I've seen you after a game in a really long time. What was leading to that frustration?
I really just love this team. I never like to see this team not have the best performance that they can put forward, and that's my responsibility to get that out of them. And it wasn't like we got beat.
Right.
There was a combination, Pierre asked earlier, of we got beat and we beat ourselves. But I think we beat ourselves more than we got beat, and those are the ones that turn into the frustration piece, because it's like your kid's making a poor decision. Your own kid's in your house. They're a good kid. You just made a really poor decision to not do what you were supposed to do, and it's just the easy things. It's making your bed. It was brushing your teeth. You haven't done that for 3 days. Why? How could you not brush your teeth for 3 days? I'm not saying my kids don't do that. They do. But it would be something. Why didn't you take the garbage out when I asked you? How did you forget that? Those are the things I think as parents you get frustrated with, the simple things. And it was the simple things that got us beat in this North Carolina game.
I forgot to put the garbage out, by the way, yesterday.
I forgot to
I forgot on Monday.
My daughter brushed her teeth.
I texted my wife and I said, I'm so sorry, I forgot to put the garbage out.
We actually had a team meeting saying, we asked our coaches in the back, and this is a side segment of the show, so I apologize.
Please, it is your show.
Well, we were just talking. I gave an example, just like I did. I always give analogies the best I possibly can for young people to understand. And I gave an analogy about, do your wives thank you, husbands, Brian Callahan, when you take the garbage out, do they thank you? And Coach Callahan had no idea how to answer it because he didn't know if it was a trick question, if it was a real question. He's like, yes. I said, there's no way Jake Callahan thanks you for taking the trash out. Coach Rossi raised his hand and said, Coach, I've never been thanked and never will. And I was like, I forgot what the point was. It was doing the routine stuff that you shouldn't have to be. We shouldn't have to say, hey, we need to play hard here anymore. We're past all that stage. This is 7 years into this. Everybody knows the culture. They know the standard. They know what we need to do. They know when we play well, and they know when we don't. And if we got to get to the effort thing, which we didn't, but if we had to be able to reteach effort every year, that's just the standard. That's just taking the garbage out because you're a good husband. You shouldn't ask for a thank you. Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want one.
It's nice.
It's nice to
Every
have
once in a
while
to have the effort appreciated.
You know what I mean? It's nice when I make the bed. We have 45,000 pillows. And
Yeah.
when I put them on the bed and take the time to do that, once in a while, I thank you. But I'm not expecting, nor do I expect it.
No.
We do it because we're good people.
You should just every week you should lose one pillow.
Oh, no, Heather will find it.
She'll know it.
I'm just kidding. I love you.
Per usual, you guys give me a lot to look forward to about family life, and we're going to talk a little more about that on the other side of the break when we come back. Starting center Nathan Bowe is going to be joining us on set to talk that offensive line group and what is his connection to Fox 9. You'll find out on the other side of the break.
Let's row the boat. You're watching the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back into the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Joined now by a special guest here on set. It's starting center Nathan Bowe with us here now. Nathan, you've moved into a starting role with this team. How comfortable are you feeling out there on the field this season?
Yeah, I mean, just knowing that I'm playing with some of my best friends out there and, my teammates out there makes me incredibly comfortable. Obviously you can never be comfortable, playing football, but because we thrive on, being, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. But, being with my teammates out there, I wouldn't want to go to war with anyone else out there.
What is it about offensive linemen where you guys, I think you're a little different. You guys all hang out together.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to be a little crazy, I think, to play offensive line as well. So what is it about the guys, your best friends, as you say? Because you guys will be friends forever, but I think it's because you're all a little off. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it takes a special character to play offensive line. And, I think part of it is, we don't care about our own personal stats. We care about the stats and accomplishments of our teammates more because, there aren't a ton of stats for offensive linemen. And we take a lot of pride in, how well our quarterbacks do, our wide receivers do, our running backs especially, rushing yards. And I think part of that, and then also that we have to play, as a unit. Five, Coach Callahan always says that we have to play 5 as 1 and then 1 as 5. We always hang out together, and those guys are my best friends. So
Last week I had a chance to speak with Ariante, and he was telling me about, I think it's every offensive lineman's preference to run block and get off the block and move. And you guys, the last 2 games, you've run the ball very, very effectively. From your perspective, what has allowed you guys to just run the ball with so much efficiency the last couple of weeks?
I think just we get better every week, and we always work to change our best, and that's always the emphasis. It's always about us, and we knew after week 1 that we had to play better, and Coach gave us the challenge, and we went out there and attacked it head on.
PJ, as you know, Nathan is replacing a guy at center that's playing for the New York Giants at the moment. That's a big ask. That's a tough act to follow, which I'm sure you know as well, Nathan. How have you seen him evolve into the starter and one of the leaders of the line?
Well, I don't think there's anybody more dedicated on the team than Nathan Bowe. I don't think anybody loves the Gophers on this team more than Nathan Bowe. I don't think anybody wanted to be a Gopher more than Nathan Bowe. And when you dream of that and that finally happens, you pour your entire life into that. And it's either real or fake, and he's 100% real, and everything he said in recruiting has completely come true. He's been patient. This young man has played every position on our O-line. He started at tackle, guard, center. He'll do anything for the team. And he was a little humble about the stats. Coach Callahan has his own stats. There's crushes, there's knockdowns, there's crunches, there's pancakes. There's all these things that on Sundays he lists off all what the guys have done, and I didn't know those were actual stats, but they are in the O-line room. Right?
What are those things? What's a crunch?
Okay, so there's a lot of levels to our stats. So a knockdown is when you simply knock someone on the ground. A crush is when
Can you demonstrate that with Pierre right now?
Maybe we'll skip that until later. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it goes up to a crush, and a crush is when you put them on their back, a D lineman on their back, or a defender. And then a nasty is the definition is when you see it.
So you can imagine as I sit down and have to be explained all these. First of all, I need a key to tell me what every one of these mean, right? Because Coach Callan has an awful lot of them. So there are no O-line stats except probably at the University of Minnesota.
Nasty, you know it when you see it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
PJ, you mentioned he's always wanted to be a Gopher. For me, Nathan's the smartest guy in Lakeville because a couple of weeks ago, in his press conference, he talked about, there's a lot of Lakeville North guys that go to Wisconsin or they go here and there, and he knows my affinity for him because he stayed as a Gopher. Smartest guy in Lakeville right here, correct?
Absolutely. He's the smartest Nathan Bowe in Lakeville, that's for sure, 100%. And, I can't say enough about that young man. He's one of the smartest guys on our team, one of the most selfless people on our team. He serves and gives. He's got great grades. I mean, he's through the roof. I mean, he's smarter than I could ever dream of being. He does it for his teammates. And like I said, nobody more selfless. And when you have a lot of those guys, you got a chance. And it's all about stacking chances on top of each other. Nothing's guaranteed. Just because you work hard, just because you did something right, just because you put yourself in a position to win, you're not guaranteed to win. Right. I'm just proud of the way he's been able to lead. From when he walked in the door, he didn't say anything. And now he actually speaks, and he's got a lot to say, which is great because it's pretty knowledgeable when it comes out.
One thing I want to point out to the fans watching at home, for those who don't know, Nathan's aunt actually is our own Alex Kendall, our own morning anchor. So thus begs the question, Nathan, is a future in broadcasting in your future?
No.
No, not at all. We'll leave that to Aunt Alex. But I see her come down with you. I think she's at a lot of the games, and you guys have a good relationship, don't you?
Yeah, no, she's my mom's sister. She's been a part of my whole life, and she comes down for Easter and Christmases and all the holidays, and she's just my mom has a lot of sisters. I have a lot of aunts, and they're all very close, and it's I just have a great family, and she's always been there as a big supporter. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, we appreciate you taking the time here on the set with us, and continued health and success the rest of the way, and good luck this weekend against Northwestern.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, Nathan Bowe, everybody, and we have so much more to come on the other side of the break here on the PJ Fleck Show. When we come back, we're going to talk about that Northwestern game as the Gophers get set to take on the Wildcats. That's next on the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show. Let's row the boat.
Welcome back into the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Time now to turn our attention to this weekend's matchup as the Gophers return to conference play. They'll be on the road again, taking on Northwestern, a team that is 1-2 to begin the season, but their one win was at home. These road conference games, I don't think we have to tell anybody, PJ. I mean, they're always tough no matter who you play.
Always, and if you watch Northwestern on film, they're a typical Northwestern team. They're going to control the clock on offense. They got playmakers on the outside. I mean, number 8, the Henning kid, is a really, really special player. They're going to get the ball to him as many times as they possibly can, whether they got to throw it to him, punt it to him, kick it to him, hand it to him. Whatever it is, they're going to give it to him. And then their defense is a typical Northwestern defense, 4-3, stout, make you earn it. Don't give up a ton of explosive plays, and they play their tail ends off. So we got to work it out for us, that's for sure, going on the road in the Big Ten.
And you just talked about, you saw their quarterback there, but you just talked about Drake May, how to keep him in the pocket, make the pocket condense. They have given up 9 sacks in the last 3 games. How do you guys take advantage of that?
We just got to be at our best. I mean, we got to be able to put pressure on the quarterback, not only just do it with 3 or 4, but if we have to be able to bring pressure, do it with pressure. And then be able to be sound down the field, covering up their wideouts, making sure that we're sticky and, we're on their guys because they've got explosive playmakers and they stretch the field pretty quickly. They do a lot of jet sweeps and they're going to have a lot of different things. They'll have some trick plays for us. You got to keep your eyes on the right people and you got to keep your eyes sound.
You talk all the time about response from any situation.
Right.
We've had a lot of players, like Ethan, for example, coming off a tough game. By his own admission, he was pretty rough on himself in the postgame. So how have you seen him respond, or what's the key to a younger player responding really for one of the first times at this level?
Well, I think one is you got to be transparent and honest with yourself, and I think our players always are. I think we are. You can't tell whether we won or lost even this Sunday. You can't tell when we actually go over what we're going over because it's not about the results, it's about how we played. And then those are the things you can actually correct. You can't do anything about the result anymore. Right. What you can correct is how you got to that result. And I think our guys are really hard on themselves that way because they care a lot. And you got to be transparent. And then you go out there and practice. We had a tremendous day on Tuesday. We had a great day on Sunday night. So again, these guys are really hungry to go out there and respond. You know, we have a purpose 3 each week. We have a 1, 2, and 3, which are the keys to victory. And number 2 is the one that always changes, you know, and number 3 is the one that's really creative. But the second one, we have to respond. We have to show the type of response that we need to show. And that starts by working as hard as we can in practice and correcting the things that are correctable.
I've been to Northwestern. It's boring sometimes when the game starts. The students are reading books before the game starts.
It's the fourth thing that we've said.
We've said it. It's a weird, eerie. It's like an eerie type of start to a lot of games. So how do you get your guys? I know you have ways to do it, but how do you get your guys pumped and let them know, you know, it's not Colorado versus Colorado State, but how do you get them to come out with that intensity?
Yeah, I mean, it's about us. I mean, it's about us being able to, you know, to bring that energy no matter what, whether it's at practice. This isn't about we get to the game and we're going to completely change. We talk to our guys about at practice. You need to be able to bring that. You know, you have to be able to. If you're juiceful, you're useful. Like, let's go. Like, it should fire you up. You know, I love people who are excited about the future. I mean, our friends that we hang out with, they're excited about the future. Friends we hang out with, they talk about the future. The people that I like to be around talk about the future. There's always something to chase. So when you get to practice, you're chasing a better version of yourself than you were at the game on Saturday. So that should excite you. Game day should excite you because it's the next day and next opportunity to make that right. And that's what we talked to them about.
If you're juiceful, you're useful. I think that should be a State Fair T-shirt next year.
No doubt about it.
I feel like the power trip would be that one.
We learned if you're juiceful, you're useful. We've talked about family advice. We also talked a little bit of football here on the PJ Fleck Show.
Pillows on beds.
You're going to learn so much when you tune in every Tuesday to the PJ Fleck Show.
Don't be looking for a thank you.
Brush your teeth and take
Don't be looking for a thank you.
Well, I want to thank PJ for taking the time, as always, on the PJ Fleck Show.
you, PJ.
Don't forget to go for pregame shows this Saturday, everybody. Good night.
You're welcome, everybody.
That'll be off the rails, too.